Well, I think it's still the other band won't leave, and I can't tell if you can see my head. Okay. All righty. So today we're going to start standing up. So come on up. I know you were just getting all nice and settled, and I made you stand up. So on Tuesday, we did a grounding practice. And today we're also going to do a very Vata reducing grounding practice, but we're going to meet Vata where he or she normally is, which is kind of up in the clouds a bit. And then we're going to make our way down to the floor. Okay. So just finding yourself tall, looking for your Tadasana, maybe about a fist or two between your feet, not too broad. Remember, your hips are not out here, they're in here. So making sure that we have our hips aligned. Good. And then press into your feet, raise your toes, and engage your quadriceps. Lift your pelvic floor, pull in your belly. Feel your spine lift up a little bit above your head. Relax your arms, and then drop your toes down. And see if you can keep the energy of the body. Finding your breath. Now it should be in the chest in this area because you have your belly engaged. Okay. Let's bring our hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Good. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So ask yourself, what do I need today, just today, for self-transformation? Let that thought blossom fully in your mind. And then make it into a positive statement as if you had already accomplished it. And then repeat it to yourself 3 times, a sankalpa, a sacred vow, a promise. Just letting your eyes close for a moment. And then if you can, where you are, please join me with one resounding Om. Exhaling the breath out. A nice big inhale to chant. And then letting your eyes flutter open, release your hands. Good. And just shake your leg out. Just shake out the right leg, shake out the foot, shake out the leg, left leg, foot, leg, everything. Good. And just reshake and just walk a little between. So just pacing a little as you shake. Good. And then on your right foot, just put the ball of the foot down and then just make some circles with the foot, whole leg, but you're really rolling into the ball of the foot all the way around. And then roll into the heel, lift the toe, back into the ball of the foot, roll into the heel. Make sure your knee and your toes are headed in the same direction or you'll torque your ankle. Good. Okay. And then bring it back. And then the left. So just first the whole leg, just moving around the ball of the foot. So the ball of the foot rolls up and over to one side. Otherwise, you're going to torque your knee. So the ball of the foot is coming up and moving other direction. Good. And then roll back onto the heel, lift the toes, and then onto the ball of the foot, back on the heel. Good. And then just shake out the leg and come back to neutral. Now, just moving at your elbows like a scarecrow. And then the other direction. Good. And then add your wrist. So moving your wrist and your elbows. And if you notice, I'm still kind of moving my legs a little bit, not letting them be still. And then add your shoulders. So like a little salsa dancing, elbows, wrist, arm, shoulders, everything in the mix. Cross your midline a few times. Good, and then be really still for a moment. Just notice the energy in the body. Release your hands, close your eyes, and notice the building of prana, the building of energy in the body. Good. And then as you inhale, let your eyes flutter open. And right here at the very beginning, we're going to take a little bit of a balance pose, okay? So a very simple one, just peeling up your left heel, peel up the left heel, hips are facing forward. Put your hand on your belly so that you're really sure that this basket doesn't move. Hand on your belly, externally rotate the leg, kickstand it, and then really pull in your right hip. So belly stays front and center. You can walk your left heel over above the ankle, or you can place the sole of the foot on the calf, not on the knee. A little small balance to start. You can release the arms up. You decide. They can also stay down, wherever you'd like the arms. Kickstanding is perfect. And then release the arms. And we're going to shake out again, the left leg. Good. And then bring the feet back into alignment, into our Tadasana. I have one personal fist between my two big toe knuckles, but when I had my hip injury was really acute, I had to have two fists. So you just find what's best for you, and it may be different tomorrow, okay? Now peeling up your right heel. Good, and we're going to externally rotate the leg, kickstand it, pull in the left hip so that you haven't sunk in there. Keep your belly button front and center. Just the leg is rotated right at the hip socket, nothing moving in here. And then either bring the heel above the ankle, kickstand, or place the foot on the calf, and then arms either up or down. You decide. Little tiny trees for a moment. This is causing us to root down and ground and balance. And then lower the arms, lower the leg, and just walk it out for a bit. Good. And then let's root down by taking our feet out to the side. A little tiny wiggle at your hip joint, just a little wiggle right there. So when we come over, I want us to be aware that we take the whole torso with us when we come. So we're making a right angle with the body and the legs, but the legs are abducted, they're spread apart. And then exhale up. So just to that right angle. Over on your exhale, take an inhale while you're there, and exhale up. Good. Inhale. Exhale over, just hinging at the hips. Inhale. Exhale up. Again. Inhale. Exhale over. Hinge. Inhale. Get long in the spine. And exhale up. Excellent. I'm going to start with my right leg today. Babaji usually starts with the left, but that's my bad hip. And I'm going to pamper it a little today. So we're going to start with the right leg. Good. So notice where you are. Your belly button was front and center, and now it's a little bit over to the right side, and that's natural. See if you can kick out your left heel a little bit to even support the pelvic basket staying balanced and even between your two legs. Bend the knee, stack it over the ankle, and straighten. Bend and straighten. And then arms are right beside us now because we're just reducing the Vata. This time when we bend, we're going to stay and breathe. Lift the pelvic floor, make sure the belly is engaged. Just leaving your arms down for a moment. Lift the pelvic floor, breathe. Just keeping your arms down, gaze out to the right side, feeling your chin approaching your shoulder. Don't let your left shoulder get involved. Keep your left shoulder back where it belongs. And then we're going to slowly take our chin out over our left shoulder. So just walking your chin back through the center and then over to the left side. Keep looking to the left side and straighten the right leg. And then lean to the left side. Just lean a little, as if we were doing Joan of Arc with no arms. Chest is still front and center. And then exhale up. Good. Bend the knee a little, unrotate. And then let's bend the left leg, externally rotate. Now our belly button went from a little bit over to the right to past center and a little bit over to the left. So just notice that. Keep your arms soft. And then bend the knee, stack it. Check and see if you need to kick your right heel out a little bit more to give you more stability through the torso with just the bend at the hip joint. Good. And then straighten, bend, straighten. Make sure your knee doesn't go past your ankle. If you need to, walk your foot out a little further. This third time we're going to stay. You're straightening and bending very slowly today, and our arms are not involved. Good. Breathing. Lift the pelvic floor, belly's engaged, breath is in the chest. And then keeping your right shoulder exactly where it is, look out over your left. And then bring the head back through center and look over the right shoulder. And then while you're still looking to the right, that little bend over, Joan of Arc, but with no arms, just the arms are just balancing, hanging. And then exhale back into the center, bring your head into the center. Good, straighten the leg. And then come back front and center. Good, wiggle your hips a little bit more. This time when we go over, we're gonna stop for 2 or 3 breaths, parallel to the floor. And if you need to get blocks, just grab your block quickly so that you can then be there for just a moment or two. If you're on the floor with your hands, great. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, hinge at the hip, gazing at the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Hands at the top of the legs. And then reaching your hands for your blocks to the floor. And then slowly bending your elbows or just simply releasing crown of the head toward the floor. Just letting your spine pour out of the pelvic basket. Just letting it pour out of the pelvic basket. And then begin to gaze forward. Bring your hands back to the top of the thighs. Take a nice inhale, get long in the spine, and then exhale up. Good. And then let's heel toe until we find our Tadasana. And just being still for a moment. Your eyes can close. Just noticing the pranic energy in the body. Noticing mind. And on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. And we're going to go one more time out, nice and big. Good. And again, I'm going to go to the right this time with the straight leg initially and leaning over just until I get a diagonal line from the crown of my head back through my left heel. And I, again, may want to kick out my left heel a little bit, getting it nice and balanced. Don't collapse into your right arm. It can be there as a stable spot, but your head is an extension of your spine and you're reaching long down into the leg. So Tadasana. Good. Just be there for a moment. Our arms today are just accoutrements that are staying low. And now we're going to bend the right knee. Good. And just be there in this side angle for a moment. Just keep the knee bent. My hand is just resting, my elbow back behind me, just resting, but I'm not collapsing into it. I'm just resting my arms, floating. Breathe, nice and solid. Lift your toes if you want to make sure you're grounding down. Keep your pelvic floor lifted. Keep your belly in. On your next exhale, straighten the leg. Again, keep that diagonal line. And for just a minute, go ahead and take your left arm and reach it back behind you as far as you can reach, and just hold on to it with your right hand. Just reach back, opening our chest even more, front and center, and maybe a little bit up. Good. And then come up, bend the knee, and unrotate. Great. Now rotating the left side. Good. And again, maybe kicking out that right heel a little bit to really balance the weight right there between your legs. And then we're leaning to the left until we get that diagonal line. Crown of the head back through the heel. You want to make sure you feel it. Pelvic floor lifted, belly in. And then you can release the arm. You can just let it hang like a pendulum, or you can rest the hand on the top of the thigh, but just make sure you're not pressing any weight into the thigh. Breathing. Breath is key here. You're welcome to raise your toes, giving you a little bit more grounding energy. And then we're going to bend the knee. And again, resting the hand with the elbow back behind you, or just letting the arm hang, whatever is best for you, not to press weight into that left side. And then taking your right arm and just reaching it back behind you. Just hold on to the hand for a moment with your left arm and just feel yourself open in the heart, in the chest. Just assuring that you're not collapsing down. Opening, opening, opening. And then straighten the leg. Release the arms. And on your next exhale, come up. All the way up. Bring your body upright, not leaning any. Relax your shoulders, bend the knee, and then unrotate. Great. Let's heel toe until we come back into neutral. Good. Just breathing for a moment. Notice the weight in the lower part of the body from your belly button down. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit heavier in that area than the top part. And this time we're going to go to goddess. So feet and knees are lined up wherever they may need to be. So knees and feet out to the side. Knees are tracking over your second and third toe. So initially, yes, you can put your hands to your legs. You can even sink down and let your shoulders be swallowed, your shoulders swallow your neck. But then press up. Bring your hands into Anjali. Lift the pelvic floor and increase the crease at the hips. Come up that little bit and down. Keep the pelvic floor lifted. This is happening with your legs. One more. Put your hands above the knees and exhale up. Good. And then toe together, heel, till you find your Tadasana. Again, really still, 4 or 5 breaths. And then on your next inhale, fluttering your eyes open. Good. So we're going to do a squat because squatting is one of our very, very best poses for reducing Vata, okay? But if you know your squat lacks something still or yet, go ahead and get a block. I'd rather you sit on a block today than hang in space and feel uncomfortable, okay? So getting your block, knees and feet again are in the same direction. They can be front and center if that's comfortable for you, but they can also be out to the side. So coming on down. Good. And I'd rather you put your block underneath your bottom and sat on it than stayed hanging in space with a lot of pressure at your knees or ankles. So you decide. Hands into Namaskar. Just notice your back. Release your hands down to the floor and curl your neck, finding this embryonic C curve, just tucking the chin into the chest and getting round. Just breathing. And then using your hands to just walk yourself up a little. Good. Come back with hands to Namaskar. And we're going to add a little twist. We're going to twist out to the left side. Just a little bit of opening. And back into center. And we're going to twist out to the right side. Belly button and hips, let's stay completely stable. You're only twisting in your thoracic spine where you have ribs. One more time to the right. You're welcome to do Ardha Malasan if you'd like, just wrapping your arms and creating a rosary around your back or not. It's the opening of the chest we want. And back to Namaskar. And then to the right. And back to Namaskar. Good. And then slowly, slowly, you're going to sit on your bottom, right on the sit bones, right at the top of the sit bones. Bring your legs back front and center. Toe knuckles touching, heels are apart. And sit up on the top of your sit bones. So just noticing if you're leaning back a little into your sacrum, bring yourself up to the top of your sit bones. Your big toe knuckles can touch, but if that's uncomfortable, just bring the feet apart in the Tadasana stance with that fist at least between your big toe knuckles. Nice and tall. We're putting that pressure at the seat of Vata and Mool. Good. And we're going to do a pose. It's called flower pose, Pushpak Asan. I'm going to face you to do it because I think it's a little easier. Okay. So all we're going to do is continue to balance on our sit bones. Walk your legs apart a little. I want you to see if you can just put your arms underneath your knees and then lift a little. You can keep the feet together initially or spread them apart like an open flower. So you can keep them together or apart, but you're on your sit bones, not back on your sacrum. Breathing. And then just let your hands go. Hold on to your big toes for just a moment. And then one leg almost to straighten, but not quite. Still putting pressure at the very base of the body. And back. And almost to straighten. And back, you can straighten. I just don't want you to lock your knee into hyperextension. And the other side. Good. And then extend the legs out into boat for just a moment. You can hold on to the backs of the legs or not. And then feet to touch, back on the top of sit bones, and extend the legs into Dandasana. Heels on the floor. Heels must be on the floor. Toes flexed back toward you. Dominant hand with which you ride on top. Thumbs gently touching and resting your hands in your lap. Breathing. Good. And really press through the heels. And then holding on to your left foot, draw it in. You may want to put something underneath your knee if it's in space. Do not make sure your knee is supported. A blanket, a pillow, a block, something. Don't let it hang in space if it's not on the floor. And this Janu Shirshasana may be different than you've done it. We often just reach out and undulate out and come back and everything. But now I want you to think about creating a circle of energy with your focus at mul, so at the tailbone, okay? I want you to be thinking about that energy pressing, and I want you to connect that tailbone energy to your knee, to your head. This is head to knee pose, okay? So how we're going to do that is start to curl the body, curling the body, curling the body, chin into chest, rounding the spine. Keep bringing the chin into the chest and round the spine, sitting up on the sit bones. Engage your pelvic floor. And then create that circuit of energy from the crown of the head to the knee. Keep the right leg flexed. Toes are still pointing toward you. Energy circle, knee to head. Sitting right up on top of mul. And then slowly on the right foot, just look out past your toes. Maybe reach out and touch either toes or shin or knee. Good. And then slowly begin to look forward, look out past your foot, and then bring your hands close to your body and press into your arms to come up, not using your low back muscles. Good. And then extend out the left leg. Good. Just extend through, draw in the right leg, and then placing that leg. So if it's not on the floor, get a block. So wherever that leg is, and you can see my right and left are night and day. Good, tall spine. Get up on top of the sit bones. Feel yourself up. And then we're going to start that curl, looking for that embryonic C curve. Curve your shoulders in. Shoulders are rolling in, chin rolling, rounding the spine. Keep on top of the sit bones. Keep pressing through the left foot. Toes stay flexed. Yes, your hamstrings are working. This is also somewhat of a Paschimottanasana, a westward stretch. Just keep tucking the chin into the chest and rounding to create that circuit of energy. Tailbone to the crown of the head to the knee, knee to the tailbone, tailbone to the crown of the head to the knee. That circle of energy. Breathing. And then slowly and gently gaze out at your big toe on the left foot. And reach out either for the toe or for the shin or the ankle or the knee, wherever you're reaching. Don't strain. And then lift your head and gaze out past everything, out, way out. And then walk your hands close to your body and use the straightening of your arms to come up. Perfect. Nice and tall all the way up. Keep the foot flexed. And then release the right leg back into Dandasana. Good. For just a moment. So we're going to take Paschimottanasana, our westward stretch, and I want to choose today between hamstrings and back. Which of the two would you like to work on? Not both, okay? Unless you're already super flexing, that feels perfectly fine to you. But usually the war is tighter. So our quadratus lumborum or here. So if you want to work on this, then you might go over, just finding your spot, come up and go over and come up and go over. If your hamstrings are tight and you want to work there, bend your knees greatly, come on over, and then just be there for about 15 seconds, maybe 25, and then walk your feet out a little bit more and just see where they go. Hold on for 15, 20 seconds, and then walk your feet out. Just see if you can find more. So working either on hamstrings or quadratus lumborum on your back between your rib cage and your pelvic basket. So wherever you have that, if you decided to work on both, you're going to find you have more tension in one than the other. So then decide, where do you want to put your effort? Also in Paschimottanasana, there is a rounding of the back. There is an eventual just letting go. The chin doesn't have to tuck into the chest, but you are finding somewhat of an embryonic curve in the low back. Breathing. Where we want to be really careful here is that we're not using our back muscles to come back up. So make sure your hands are somewhere on the floor between your knees and your hips. And then press into the hands to come up. Begin to straighten your arms to come up using your arm muscles instead of your low back. Good. Back into Dandasana. Again, dominant hand on top, resting, making a right angle with your body. Good. And then we're going to slowly make our way to the floor. But watch before we go, okay? Just so that you don't have to crane your neck when you get there, okay? So one, we're going to do figure 4, which is we know is kind of an upside down pigeon pose. So I'm going to draw in, well, I'm drawing in my right leg, okay? And then cross it over and just place the ankle somewhere comfortably on the knee of on this side of the knee on the left leg. And then lift the left leg. So I can always reach through and hold, but it may torque my knee. So I'd rather you just did this with whatever energy you have in the legs and just leave the arms be. So the energy is going to come from the strength you have in that leg. Okay, so come on down and let's do that together. So just bend your knees, bottom is on the floor. Find a little bit of your low back curve, tuck your pubic bone down toward the floor for a minute, and then come back into your low back for a second. So kind of like a little cat pose right on the floor for a few times. Pubic bone dips and then tailbone lifts up. Good. And then come back into some happy medium. So you have a little tiny bit of your low back curve. You haven't just pressed it out, not until you lifted that other leg. Okay. So let's start by bringing our right leg in. And your hands. Okay. And then bend the knee and place the foot somewhere above your left knee. Keep your hips even. Keep your pelvic floor even. And you can stay right there. That's a perfect place to stay. You can still feel energy happening at the hip. I want you to keep the head of the femur, which is the one that's stuck down into your hip socket, your knee and your ankle in the same plane. So if you start to feel a torque in your knee, come out of it. Put your left foot on the floor. Otherwise, you can lift your left foot off the floor and just be for a moment with arms are just resting. A few more breaths. Maybe try to draw the leg in, the left leg in a tiny bit more if that feels okay. Just do not torque your right knee or ankle. If your hip is tight, it's going to go into the knee or the ankle, so just be careful. Keep them in the same plane. And if you don't know what that means, ask me at the end of after class when we're having our chat. Okay, and then let's release the left foot to the floor. Take the right leg up toward the ceiling, flex the foot toward the ceiling, a nice big flex, and then slowly lower a straight right leg all the way to the floor, nice and slow. Good, press through the heel, and then bend the knee and draw it back to meet the left leg. Good. And then go ahead and take the left leg. Straighten the leg a little bit just to get your knee bent, and then take it to the other side. So that ankle right at the knee of the left ankle at the right knee. And then if you're ready, come off a little bit, however much is comfortable for you with your right foot. And I happen to be in a place here because I have a really tight right hip that I still have a little bit of my low back curve. My right foot is off the floor probably only an inch or two because I can't go very far or deep without torquing a knee on this side. Just breathing, just be with it. See if you want to go just a tiny bit deeper, just bringing that right leg in a tiny bit. If you overdo it, just come right back. Don't have to stay there. Pain is not the goal. Good. And then as you're ready, let your right foot drop to the floor. Take your left leg and extend it up toward the ceiling. Reach through the heel a lot. Heel is powered. And then slowly begin to lower the straightened leg down to the floor until the heel gently touches. Don't just drop it. And then draw the foot back. Good. Then lift your hips off and just shake them out a little bit. Just a little shake to your hips, just a little. And then come back down. So this is the time in our practice for you to do an inversion if you like. You're not inverting if you're on your menstrual cycle. You're not inverting if you have glaucoma, eye pressure problems, uncontrolled high or low blood pressure, but otherwise you're welcome to invert. So if you're not inverting, you're welcome to just do a little legs up the wall, which means that your bottom is on the same plane as your heart and your head, so it won't hurt you. And you can put your feet, if you have any eye pressure or blood pressure problems, you can just put your feet maybe 1 foot up, just like if you had them on a couple of pillows like that. That would be fine. And everybody else can go as far as you'd like. Just finding the inversion of your choice. I'm going to guide you in out of the inversion and into your Shavasana. I'm not going to take it myself. I'm just going to sit here and be with you. But I want you to take it. So keeping with your inversion for a little while longer if you can make it. I'd like you to be there at least 2 minutes. Letting your breath be soft and gentle. Because your belly is engaged and falling back this way, you're going to notice the breath in the belly, notice the breath in the chest. You're just going to notice it, but there's no real control here. Everything is happening with the help of gravity. Take a moment and just notice your body, your breath, your mind. How are your thoughts now compared to how your thoughts were at the beginning of class? So slowly beginning to make your way out of your inversion. Ask yourself if you need any counter pose, but no matter what, just rest for a moment after an inversion. Just being still for a moment. You don't need to form another pose if you don't want, but you need to rest. And then slowly making your way into Shavasana. I'm going to give you an option this morning of Advasan, which is the same but on your belly. It's very Vata reducing to just lay on your belly. It's very safe feeling very contained. So you can grab a pillow and put it under one side of your head, but grab whatever you'll need, and then finding your Shavasana. So remembering your arms and your legs do not have to be so close to the body that you feel trapped by your mat. Only if it's cold on your floor, then you want to stay on your mat. But otherwise, letting everything move away a little bit from the body. But the hands always need to be below the heart. So don't bring your arms up anywhere. Bring the arms a little bit, at least, below heart level. So either Advasan on your belly or Shavasana on your back. Either are the hardest poses according to Babaji. Just so hard to relax. Let's see if we can master just a moment of that this morning. Just seeing, okay? So soften your jaw, said to be the seat of the will. Let it go. Just let it go. Your lips may part slightly, your teeth may part slightly. Nobody cares, no one's looking. Just let go. Looking for any tension in the body. As the mind goes there, let the pran go there. Massaging it out with your own energy. Again, check the jaw. Let your tongue relax in the mouth. Let your eyes be heavy in the sockets. Soften flesh to bone. Slowly and gently, bringing your awareness into the breath, feeling the rise and the fall of your belly or your chest. Letting your eyes roll in the sockets in one direction and then the other. Let your tongue begin to roam the mouth, the back of the teeth, the roof of the mouth, swishing it along the front of the teeth. Then opening the mouth wide as if you were yawning. Beginning to swim the fingers and the toes, wriggle your ears, wiggle your nose. Just noticing all of the energy in the body. Slowly making your way to embryo pose either side, unless you're pregnant, left side only. And then slowly making your way all the way over to embryo, curl up safe and secure. That embryonic C curve, look for it one last time as you curl your spine, drawing your chin to your chest, drawing your knees into your body. And then keeping your head as the very last thing that comes up. Take your upper arm, put your hand on the floor in front of your face, rock out toward that arm, and then press the floor away. Keep your head the very last thing that just plops on top of your spine when you're all the way up to a comfortable seat. And being still for just a moment when you get there. Just letting all of the asana do their work. So we're going to move into a little bit of pranayama and meditation. Get what you need for the meditation because we're going to slide from one right into the other. So if you'd like an extra pillow under your bottom or a blanket to put over your legs, a shawl to wrap around your neck, whatever you might need, grab it because we're going to be moving from one right into the other. So our pranayama this morning, we're going to do it a very simple pranayama that builds up to leaving us with a longer um, pause in our own respiration and our own breath. Okay. So we're going to start by controlling the breath. And that means you may have to take a bigger inhale or a faster, stronger exhale because we're going to inhale for 4 and exhale for 4 times. We're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 6, 4 times. We're going to inhale for and exhale for 8 times. And we're going to slide right into meditation. Okay. So I want you to control it. That is prana yam. So yam means restrain, control. And I want you to control your breath. All right. So this is not, when you get into your meditation, I want your meditation breath to be completely uncontrolled, soft, shallow, just enough to sustain your being and nothing more. Okay. So let's get ready. Tall spine, comfortable seat. Exhaling the breath all the way out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. 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 Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Falling into your natural breath pattern, body prepared for meditation. You can rest your hands in your lap again with your dominant hand on top, thumbs gently touching. Be aware of the spine erect, flesh of the body soft to the bone. Uncontrolled breath. The breath is completely uncontrolled. And your mantra this morning is just naming what you're doing, not doing what you're saying. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. So you're just naming what you're doing. You are not controlling the breath, but to yourself silently repeating as you inhale, inhaling, as you exhale, exhale. Uncontrolled breath. Mantra, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Slowly and gently releasing the mantra, releasing the mudra of your hands, just resting the palms of the hands on the thighs. Your eyes can stay closed for a few more moments. Just noticing body, breath, mind, the quality of your thoughts. On your next inhale, gently letting your eyes flutter open as you bring your hands to the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Remember your sankalpa and repeat it to yourself 3 times in your mind, 3 times. And then letting that drop from your mind down into your heart space, symbolically from the heart space into the palms of the hand. And then just let's lift it all up, all of our effort, and let it go off into the universe, bringing our hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. I'm coming to you. I'll be right there. Get my shoes on because of a cold floor. Great. And now let me fix this so that I can talk to you and you can talk to me. Hi, Allison. Just now seeing your chat. Since it's just me here in the world of my world of teaching, I don't get to see anything. I don't get to see you guys, and I don't get to see the chat or anything until the end. So let me get gallery on. And now it's made where you can all speak. Everybody's totally welcome to comment, to ask a question. Anything. Hi, Suryalata. Nice to have you in class. Welcome. Wendy, Patty, Padma, welcome. Hi, Beverly. Nice to have you in class. Welcome. Jean, Surya Prakash. Hi, Cam. Hi, Nancy, Alfredo, Donna, Maria, Jasmine, Sandra, Varnita. So nice to have you all in class. Yes. Okay, Padma. Thank you. I'm working with this new microphone, which is better than it used to be with me yelling at the computer across the room. I think everybody will attest to that. It's better than it was when I was having to scream at the computer. But I'm trying to figure out how far, like when I lay down, it moves. And so I was bringing it back to back to me, but probably not enough. Because I think like even if it goes like that, it changes the volume quite a bit, right? Yeah. So I was trying to get it in the same exact place by my mouth, but when I lay on it, it goes way on up. So I'm learning how to move in asana and manage a microphone. So I'm on a learning curve. Hi, Allison. Welcome. Nice to have you. Yeah. So it was a different grounding class in the Vata class we did on Tuesday, but how did you guys feel about it? Did you also feel it was very grounding? Because you had to root down. So often for some of us that have a Vata vitiation or a Vata aggravation, but we like that Vata. We like that walking around and being active and our arms going like this and like me talking with my hands the whole time. We just like that, right? So if you meet us kind of where we are, which means that we have some movement initially, and then you get us down and put us on our bottom, which is where that focus needs to be, and balance on our bottom for a few times. And, all of those things lend us to really getting into what we need. Suryalata, you have a question? Come on in.
The question is, when you mentioned going into the goddess pose and you said the pelvic, pull the pelvic up, does it mean we go up or do we pull the pelvic up and go up?
You pull the pelvic up and you go down.
Okay, thank
And
you.
yeah, you really, the pelvic floor lifts, especially as you're taking your bottom closer to the floor. And, like you really, like our pelvic floor muscles are the perineum and about 10 other muscles, but they all, are there. For guys, it's between the scrotum and the anus. And for us women, it's all around our vagina, right? So we want to lift that area as we start to lower down. So we're really engaging that area. So everything is engaged there, but we're leaning down into our knees. But if you just let it go, it just all kind of drops down. It's not helpful to tone the vata, right? We're really toning that base part of our body. Does that help?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah,
does. Thank you.
yeah. Um, the Sanskrit words A is not pronounced. Yes, Surya Prakash, does someone have a question? Also, I have very much enjoyed these grounding practices this week. I'm glad. Okay, so let me get the chat open. Okay. I hadn't looked yet. Okay, well, I've got Padma's and her helping me with my microphone. I'm on my learning curve. You're very welcome. Good. And Jean could hear better today. Good. Allison, you're so welcome to be here. And Jasmine, it didn't use like because I don't want to wake my dog. Okay. So yeah, yog, pran, tada, yeah, tadasan. So yeah, I can tell you a little bit more about that. Um, it has to do probably a little bit more with Hindi, honest to goodness. But in the part of India where you are from, according to Babaji, you drop the it's not yoga, it's yog. There's a short A at the end. It's not a long A. It doesn't have a long A. Like asana doesn't have a long A at the end. It's asana. And there's a little at the end, but you kind of don't hear it very much, if that makes any sense. It is there. You don't really hear it very much. But Babaji, when we would go yoga, would make fun of us and we would say, asana or something like that, he would make fun and say, oh, he would roll his eyes. He was a silent monk, and he would write on his slate board, but he didn't have to write anything. He would just like go, oh. And so he wanted us to stop that long A stuff at the end that we kind of do here. It's not pranayama, it's pranayam. There's a m at the m, like in Sanskrit, each of the consonants has what we would call a vowel with it, and that vowel is an sound, like a up, like a short U, and they all have that unless they have unless they're turned into another vowel. Right. So like Kamlesh, it's a short. So Kamlesh, that's my name in Sanskrit that Babaji gave me, Kamlesh. It's not Kamalesh, it's Kamlesh. Those A's are both short. And otherwise, it would have to have a long A across it. So it's a whole Sanskrit thing. We have some great Sanskrit classes. Bhavani, my sister, is offering, my yoga sister, not my real birth sister, but I'm big into birth and non-birth family. She offers Sanskrit classes weekly. And I think you can, Donna, is it on our website? You just go there and you find it? Yeah, so on mountmadonna.org, Mount Madonna Institute.org. Sorry, Mount
Uh,
Madonna Institute. You want to put it in the chat too for folks, Donna, and
yes, I
tell
will
them
put
about
the
it?
link. So if you want to register, you can register Eventbrite.
Yeah, it's a great it's a great tool. Yeah, let's see. All right. Enjoy these grounding practices. Directing apana. Yes, it is. Directing apana vayu is really good for digestion and menstruation. Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, Allison, you had a question about menstruation.
Yeah, so when we were at the end doing the inversions, I wanted to know why, well, I guess the first part of my question would be why it's not good to do too, vigorous of a inversion on your cycle.
Mhm. So part of it has to do with the pran that's happening, because we want to encourage the apan to go down, not up. And if you're inverting, it's reversed, right? And so you're sending it up for that moment, and you don't really want to do that. You want, for menstruation, you want the fluid to come down. You don't want it to stay up. The other physical thing is your fallopian tubes that come off of your uterus are like catcher's mitts. I don't know if you've taken much anatomy, but they look like a catcher's mitt, and they go down here and they trunk into your uterus, right? And then here are your ovaries right here. So when an egg peels off, it peels off one at a time, and it goes over there, and they catch it and bring it down. So every time that's open, there's no space there. So just as much as your sloughing off of your menstrual tissue happens and goes down, it can also happen and come up and out of the fallopian tube. And that makes for endometriosis. That creates endometriosis where the menstrual tissue is attached to other organs. It's attached to your bladder and your small intestine, and it bleeds every month just like inside your uterus. And so you have cramps and you have bloating because it's swelling up there, the same tissue. So any of us who have suffered from endometriosis, and I was I did gym stuff at home. I was in gym and on a balance beam and trampoline, and no wonder I had terrible endometriosis. And I finally had to, well, for many different reasons, I had a hysterectomy at 29, right? So yeah, but I really encourage you not to invert, just not to invert on your menstrual cycle. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it.
And thank you so much. And the second part of that would be about the pelvic floor lifting.
Mm-hmm.
That also have any kind of mal effects on when you're on your cycle too?
Well, that's kind of, it depends, because you're not inverting, you're just stimulating that floor. So we have a thing that we did on Tuesday's class. You can go to the YouTube channel and take Tuesday's class if you weren't there.
Mhm.
Okay, because we did Ashwini Mudra, which is the anal sphincter tightening and releasing. And what you're doing there is stimulating that area. And Babaji explained it like a plunger. So you know how a plunger works until all goes out and down, everything goes out and down. So the same thing sort of happens with the pelvic floor. Like you tone it, release it, tone it, release it, tone it, release it. So you're not trying to direct anything upward. You're just trying to tone the muscle floor where the base of the body is. So that one won't really hurt. I wouldn't do it if I had cramps, but I certainly wouldn't not do it on my menstrual cycle. If I wanted my menstrual cycle to go, and because I needed a little bit more flow, it's like I'm just spotting, I would do it because it'll help that downward flow of energy.
Cool. Okay. I'm looking forward to doing that class on YouTube then.
Yeah, just go on to, it's just my YouTube and you'll see it from Tuesday. And I think I didn't give it to him till late last night because I forgot. I saw it on my computer still. I was like, oh no, I thought I sent that to him. So I sent it last night. So it probably won't be up until later today, but it will be up. And so then you'll have 2 Vata reducing class.
Awesome. Thank
Could
you.
you do Ashwini Mudra with a catheter? Yeah, Ashwini Mudra is at the anal sphincter. Has nothing to do with your penis where the catheter goes. So absolutely, to tone the muscle floor, it would be really good for someone who has a catheter. So it's not going to affect the penis at all. It's just the anal sphincter as Ashwini Mudra. Yeah. Yeah. Which one of the 4 purifications is best? Well, for what, Padma? For doing what? Which one of the 4? They all have 4. There are 4 different things that they're working on. So what are you interested in? What? So
A friend of mine in his husband, they happen to be from Tennessee too. And I told them about you to hope that they come in, because I'm living down here in the South now.
Great.
And he got COVID, And so I'm thinking if he can get his doctor's approval, maybe we could teach him the 4 Ps, and it might help him to tone that area so that he can not just sit there and, debilitate. In other words, they're just probably the doctors put the catheter in because that was what happened.
Easier, right. Mhm.
I mean, it's probably too personal to talk about. Sorry.
No. There's nothing too personal. Ask Cam. He's one of my Ayurvedic yoga therapy students. Just ask him. There is nothing too personal to talk about in class, right?
I just was wondering if that would be appropriate for somebody whose immunity was low. I think he's got some thyroid issues. He had that treatment for thyroid. And so his immunity is probably low, which probably made him more susceptible. And then he has now, his bladder stopped. The muscles got so weak that he couldn't do. So they had to do that. And I'm wondering if the 4 Ps or any of them would be appropriate.
I think they would, but I would start him first with just abdominal breathing because he needs his immune system to build. And so he needs to be able, he's had his sympathetic nervous system on since he found out he had COVID. He's been on with sympathetic. So you need to transfer him over to parasympathetic, which is relaxing, right? So abdominal breathing, Padma, just get him to
restorative.
Just lay down and put a small weight on his belly, like on his belly, right between his navel and his bladder, which will help that muscle area as well. And with his inhale, now remember, with his inhale, he's raising that bag of sugar to the ceiling, and with his exhale, it falls back down. And with his inhale, his goal is to lift that bag toward the ceiling, that 1 or 2 pounds of rice or sugar or something, and then exhale it back down. So I would just have him do abdominal breathing for probably a month before I would think about adding on any of the other purifications.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see the
effects.
The people in my age and a little older who are becoming totally debilitated overnight.
Absolutely. It is so sad. So sad. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell them, and then it's just up to the Great Spirit if he does it.
Yeah. But tell him that it's beneficial for his whole nervous system, and that was beneficial for his muscular system, and really good for everyone.
Okay. Let's see. And put him on a pillow, right? Like a bolster type thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Put something on his belly. You're welcome. So for the class, all you need to do is go to YouTube and look up Ginger Hooven Yoga, and you will go right to my YouTube channel. And you can pick out of 60 or 70 classes, whatever you'd like. There's the descriptions of all of them. And yeah, I like live better because we have this live, but all of the recordings also have the chat at the end, and there's some really good questions and answers. Well, not sometimes my answers are just off the wall, but there's some really good questions. Okay, everyone, I'm going to let you go because I have in 15 minutes, I have a Zoom that I have to be on. So much love to you. Much love. Have a wonderful weekend. And good Lord willing, I'll see you on next Tuesday, which is an hour later if you're in California, right? You get to sleep in for a 7 a.m. class. I really appreciate you guys out there getting up at 6 a.m. for this. I really do. So have a great one. Much love.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. So welcome. Bye.